Patria Grande. Hi, I'm Carmen Aguirre, co-founder of Caltac. I was just telling a friend that often Latin American Catholicism is a mix of Catholic iconography with indigenous and West African cosmology. Offerings to Pachamama, the Andean Mother Earth, can be made to Jesus. Devotees of Shango, king of Santeria, the Afro-Cuban religion based on Nigerian Yoruba beliefs, worship Santa Barbara. The initial reason was resistance. Spanish and Portuguese invaders forced Catholicism on indigenous people and enslaved Africans. Both these groups hid their spiritual practices behind Catholic symbols. My friend said, "There's so much I don't know about Latin America." So I'm going to give you a historical snapshot. Latin America is a colonial term. In the Guna language, the region is Abyayala, fertile land. So who named it Latin America? The colonizers who wanted those born there to identify with Europe instead of our indigenous and African roots. About those roots. When Columbus landed in 1492, two empires ruled: the Incas, the South American Andean region, and the Aztecs, Aztlán, currently central Mexico into what is now the southwestern U.S. Capitalism's rise depended on the colonization of the Americas. Europeans murdered millions of indigenous people to steal land, and gold, silver, cotton, tobacco, sugar, extracted through indigenous and African slave labor, to send back to Europe. During the Iberian transatlantic slave trade, Iberian means Spain and Portugal, millions of West Africans were brought to Abyayala. The Iberians didn't have as strict a quota as the English of what defined a white person. Before race was constructed by Europeans in the 16th and 17th centuries, the English subjugated Irish workers and African slaves side by side. People who labored together organize. Racialization divided the exploited. If a white person carried one drop of African blood, they were considered black. Indigenous people were also racialized. The Iberians were less strict about blood quantums. Hence, mixing was more common in Abyayala than on Turtle Island. So Latin Americans are not a race, but a racialized ethnicity. Many of us are mestizos, a mix of Iberian, indigenous, and African, colonizer, colonized, and enslaved. Resistance began as soon as the Iberians landed. Led by 16th century Mapuche leader Lautaro in what is now Chile, 18th century Quechua leaders Micaela Bastidas and Tupac Amaru II in what is now Peru, 18th century Aymara leaders Bartolina Sisa and Tupac Katari in what is now Bolivia, escaped enslaved Africans in what is now Brazil formed secret communities called quilombos. Palmares, founded in the 17th century, had 20,000 citizens. Not only home to runaway slaves, but also indigenous people and escaped Portuguese soldiers. All exploited, they banded together, braiding African, indigenous, and European models to organize governance of their society. In the 19th century, Latin America won wars of independence from the Iberians, led by criollos, a term that described Latin Americans of Spanish ancestry, such as Simón Bolívar, who was inspired by the triumphant Haitian Revolution, the first in the Americas to ban slavery. Did Latin American independence end slavery? No. Betraying Bolívar's vision, criollo elites took control of the land and continued with the same system of oppression and exploitation of the indigenous and mestizo poor, and abolition came later. Simón Bolívar's goal was La Patria Grande, the big motherland, a borderless Latin America, one continent, one united, powerful people. But England and the United States, along with the local bourgeoisie, made sure that wouldn't happen. In the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries, the U.S., with the support of the Latin American upper class and multinationals, intervened or invaded countless times. Some highlights: Cuba in 1898, Guatemala in 1954, Chile in 1973, Panama in 1989, Venezuela in 2002, Honduras in 2009, Bolivia in 2019. The reason being to stop poor Latin Americans, the vast majority, from controlling the land, resources, and labor, often with alternative models to capitalism. The struggle for self-determination in our Patria Grande continues today. The Zapatista Project, the plurinational state of Bolivia, the thousands of Venezuelan communes, the fact that Cuba, despite 6 decades of U.S. blockade, still provides universal health care makes me proud to be Latin American and to support the ongoing struggle for our Abya Yala commons.